This is your Olympic hero and former WWE champion, Kurt Angle. And I just wanted to give a shout out to my guys, Clint and Noah. When it comes to covering sports, there is no one better. And believe me, that's true. It's damn true. These guys definitely have the three eyes, and I'll put an ankle lock on anyone who disagrees.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to No Holds Barred Wrestling. Clint Schweitzer, Noah Groniger, and thank you so much for downloading the podcast, watching it on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We always appreciate it here on the Great American Sports Network. And it's fitting that the Great American Sports Network, which is our banner site, everything that we do under that banner, because today, a true American, a real American, yes, Mr. Kurt Angle himself, former Olympic gold medalist, current Raw GM, will be joining us on this very show. That, my friends, is true.
It's damn true. Right here, we've got the three I's: intensity, intelligence, and integrity. We've got it here. Kurt Angle's going to be on this show. Just such a huge guest. I mean, one of the biggest wrestlers we've ever had out. We've had Mankind on, Mick Foley, now Kurt Angle. I mean, we've got to get into just so much. He's, like you said, the current Raw GM. And just going back to him entering the business in late 99, just that Attitude Era versus WCW, and now it going out of business. Just where is that compared to the business today? You don't see a lot of those big names. People are trying to make their way, but just seems like a lot of random names out there, not the big personalities and characters.
And what's Kurt's future? He's currently the Raw GM, doing a great job. He's always been a great personality with regards to wrestling, in addition to being one of the greatest athletes to ever step into the ring. But you know what? His career may not be over. We're going to ask him about that.
Yeah.
If he's going to have another run in him as far as more matches down the road. Of course, he took over as Raw GM right after WrestleMania, right after he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and congratulations to Kurt for that. And not only that, Kurt's also helping millions of people with his new Angle Strong initiative. You can download the Angle Strong app, go to his website, anglestrong.com. He's helping millions of people that are dealing with drug addiction, substance abuse, to be able to help them with their recovery, and I think it's a wonderful thing. In fact, don't ask us, ask Kurt. If you mess up during your recovery and you're on the app, he will find you.
Yeah, you sign up with someone, a loved one, someone who cares about you, so you have to sign in every day. If you don't sign in, Kurt Angle's coming after you.
Someone's going to
come find you. He's going to know they didn't sign in today. All right, let's go. Let's pack our bags. Let's pack the car.
It's great.
We're going to find him.
Great for accountability. And of course, yeah. Kurt had a very public issue with substance abuse, painkillers, alcohol, and he was able to overcome that. And
what wrestler hasn't, though?
It's absolutely
a business that wears on you. You're traveling all the time. You're injured. You're hurt. You're having to wrestle almost every single night, whether it's house shows or Raws or SmackDowns or pay-per-views.
Sure.
I mean, it takes its toll, and you got to supplement it with something. You have to down the pain, and you got to be on for the show. You got to be up for the show.
Well, the truth of it is we've lost so many greats over the years in a business that I grew up watching, grew up admiring. To have your heroes just fall by the wayside as a result. And I'll tell you what, I think WWE is doing a better job now with regards to their wellness policy, keeping guys, even as far as substance abuse goes, rehab, they help cover the costs for that. For former wrestlers. It happened with Scott Hall. You talk about how they paid his way to go to rehab. The wellness policy, paying attention to things like concussions, just like professional sports do. Yeah. I think it's wonderful. I think it's much better than it was back in the day when you talk about professional football players playing with a concussion. In wrestling, that wouldn't even be a second thought.
I mean, there's been so many. I just remember Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig passing away in his hotel. I was just like, really? Like, what is going on? And then Eddie Guerrero and Piper recently. And I'm just like, man.
So many.
All these greats, just they should be out there still just being adored by their fans and out there at events. And still showing up to Raws. And it's just so sad to see what this business, I mean, it's a love, it's a passion for them, but the toll it takes on their bodies and the substance abuse to control that pain in their bodies and to be on every night and show up, and then what it leads to, it's just so sad. And I'm glad that they're, like you said, the wellness program, and they're getting that under control.
Well, with that, we want to go ahead and welcome our very special guest here to the No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. It is none other than former Olympic gold medalist, current Raw GM, Kurt Angle. Kurt, welcome to the show, man. I tell you, when we got this interview scheduled, you were not in the WWE Hall of Fame yet. You were not the Raw GM. A lot's happened in the past month, man, hasn't it?
Yeah, they're going really well. I had a lot of fun at the Hall of Fame, and Dobie and I have been able to work out some things where I can work with the company long term. So I think the general manager spot is the first step, and I'm really excited to do it.
Well, it's great to see you out there. You were here just in our hometown in Kansas City just a few nights ago for Raw. Great to see you back in a WWE ring here at the Sprint Center in Kansas City. And just things going on. You had such a great induction. Your speech was so memorable. I mean, everything like that. It had to just be a whirlwind of a weekend. The induction, as we go back just a couple of weeks back to WrestleMania weekend, had to be just an amazing experience for you, kind of coming home, as it were, back to WWE.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The only difference was it felt a little bit empty at WrestleMania because I didn't wrestle. It was my first WrestleMania where, I showed up and I didn't have an opponent. So, but I was real happy to be there. It was really fun. The guys, there are a lot of new talent there. Some older talent that I knew already, but it's a whole new ship, and I'm just happy to be part of it.
Well, before we get into a couple other things, I want to bring up this. This is very important, initiative that you have going right now, and anglestrong.com is the website for us. Talk about this new app that you've kind of created, this Angle Strong app, where I think this is amazing because you've talked before, and listening to you talk to Chris Jericho a few weeks ago just about, and you've been very public about your issues with substance abuse, and what this app is, it looks to me like is something that people can kind of, in their recovery where there's not a lot of help beyond the recovery, this is like something that can keep people going on the recovery. Just talk about the this Angle Strong app and how people can download it and what all it can do.
Well, first you go to anglestrong.com to download the Angle Strong app, and I structured it so that people had aftercare after you get out of rehab. The hardest part in the world, once you get into rehab, you go through the withdrawal, and you get through that, you start taking classes. You're introduced to structure, and your structure consists of getting up early, doing yoga in the morning, then you end up going to breakfast. You take a couple of classes, you go to lunch, a couple of classes. You can work out again, but they feed you properly. They give you the right diet, the right exercise, and then the 8 hours of sleep at night. It's incredible structure, so it's really easy to stay clean in rehab. But when you get out, the aftercare is not there. You have AA meetings if you want to go. That's an hour or two a day. A lot of people don't have time to do that. If you have 5 kids and you're married, you have a full-time job, it's very difficult to do. So I wanted to create an app that would help people stay in recovery. And the Angle Strong app is pretty cool. There are a lot of things to the app that will benefit the recovering addict. For one, you sign up. You check in every day, you answer the questions. You don't check in, your lifeline that will sign up with you, whether it's your family, your loved ones, or your sponsor, they'll be notified if you don't check in. So
that's awesome.
GPS. So if you do relapse, we're going to find
you personally will find them.
One of us will. We're trying to be responsible for the recovering addict. We're trying to get them to, take accountability and be responsible for themselves. But we also know you can't do it alone. You need family. Yeah. You need lunch. You need sponsors. You need someone like Kurt Angle that's helping you out, that's giving you monthly video chat calls and giving you positive daily messages. Going on the website anglestrong.com, looking at what's new there. We're coming out with a workout diet program, and eventually we're going to have career goal programs. So we're trying to be the whole ball of wax.
Well, that's awesome, Kurt. Just everything you're doing with the Angle Strong app sounds like it's going to be helpful to millions of people across the world. But getting back to your career, just when you were starting out, it was the who's who on both sides, WCW, WWE. I mean, you had Triple H, HBK, Taker, Austin, Rock, Mankind. Then on the other side, just the Hogans, Flairs, Stings, Nash, Hall, Macho Man. I mean, just looking back at that, just how does that time, the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, just kind of compare with the business today?
Well, I got there on the tail end, late '99. It was a lot of fun, especially for WWE because by that time we were kicking their butts. But it was different. I mean, what I did recognize back then more than now, I would say now the athletes seem better. They seem like better wrestlers. Back in the Attitude Era, a lot of matches didn't start high up. It was punching, high spots, and before you knew it, you're already into the finish. It was very fast, quickly run back then. And it had a lot to do with where business was at the time. They wanted action. Now there's there's a lot more wrestling, a lot more technique, which I kind of like. A lot more submission. So the difference is characters seemed stronger back then. Everybody was identified with something. You watch today, and I talked to a few of the rest of it. They have characters or gimmicks, but they don't really portray who they really think they are. Like, I'll give you an example. Stone Cold Steve Austin, he was a rule breaker, the beer drinker. He was the guy that put the cuts off. He had the strongest character there was. The Rock was the people's champion. You had Undertaker was the dead man. You had Godfather was the pimp.
Yes.
Kurt Angle was the Olympic guy. So there were characters that we all portrayed and we all believed in them. Now they're I think some guys are, not all of them, because there are some great characters in the WWE, but some guys don't. They just think they're going to wear something because it looks cool. It's not because it makes them a character that they believe in and that they want to be. They just don't know what they want to be yet. They might be the best wrestler, but they still don't have a character that people know what it is. There's a difference. There was more character heavy back then. And I'm not saying it's worse now. What I'm saying is I'd like to see more character-enhanced wrestlers going on in the future. I think the business changed a little bit. I'd like to see it change back to that.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned that Attitude Era where it was action, action, action. And a match that you had that wasn't lacking for action at all was against Chris Benoit in a steel cage. You attempted and did a moonsault off the top of the cage. I mean, you're a world-renowned athlete, but you had never really attempted such a death-defying stunt. I just want to get your mindset of attempting that, just the preparation. What were your thoughts going into it? And then during it, climbing up, turning your back to the ring and attempting a moonsault just up in the air. Just how does that happen? How do you get through that?
Oh, that's something you don't practice. You just do it. And that's all I had to do is just go out there and try to. The problem is I ended up with knee surgery and didn't come back until I wrestled Benoit in the 2003 Royal Rumble. So I think I was out about 5 or 6 weeks. But I didn't learn from that because I did more of those in the future. But the issue is once you do it once, you land fairly safely and you get more confident about doing it again. But that's the move you can't practice. You can't put a crash pad down. It's not going to really help. But Chris and I, that was the first time Chris dove off the top of the cage. That was the first time I did my backflip. But I don't like to be labeled as not a moonsault. I'd rather be labeled as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time that had told the best story. So I'm not real proud of that moonsault, to be honest with you.
Well, if anything, it shows your athleticism and your range. I mean, obviously, you're, as a multiple-time world champion, going to go down as one of the greats of all time. And here, I mean, at your age, seemingly, back in the WWE with still, physically a lot to offer. Obviously, I've heard you say before, you'd like to wrestle again. What has there been talks about that? When can we expect that to maybe happen? I know WrestleMania's, hey, it's a year away. We could obviously get something going for that. We'd love to see you back in the ring. Everybody would.
Well, to be honest with you, I have not talked to Triple H or Vince McMahon about it yet. I'd imagine I will. I don't think I'm done wrestling. I can't tell you a time frame or a timeline or if it's even going to happen. But what I can say is I'm pretty confident it will. So I wouldn't say in the near future, in the next 6 months, but possibly after that sometime. But I'm just guessing. But I'm pretty confident that something will portray it. And don't forget, I do have to take the physical, so I'm going to have to pass that. I believe I will pass it with flying colors, but you have to remember that anything is possible. And if the doctor says no, then I can't go. But I feel pretty good that I'll be able to go.
Well, Kurt, I tell you what, I can't thank you enough for all you've done. I mean, dating back to watching you wrestle in the Olympics, I still remember that moment. I remember when you came to the WWE telling my dad that's the guy that won that gold medal. Just the fact that you're a wrestler's wrestler, a guy that can go in the ring and go. So few of those over the years that you look at. You're one of the great shooters of all time, and we want to thank you for coming on and joining us to talk about the Angle Strong app. We want everyone to go get that, especially everybody knows someone that's been, involved with, had someone in recovery or dealing with substance abuse. And thank you so much for going on a limb and helping people that way. That's so awesome. We want to thank you so much for joining us, Kurt. And we'll catch up soon, my man. Next time you're in Kansas City, we'll have to get you out for some barbecue or something, my man.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You bet, Kurt.
It's been an honor. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Such a huge thanks to Kurt Angle. Again, we want to remind everybody to download that Angle Strong app. Even if you're not the one suffering from the abuse, the addiction, you know someone that is, download it, show it to them, sign up with them, help them out. AngleStrong.com, sign up, download that Angle Strong app. But it was great talking to him talking about maybe getting back into wrestling. He's got to pass the physical. Kind of reminded me of Rocky Balboa going through the boxing commission, having to do that, although Angle sounds like he expects to pass. He's in peak physical condition, and so hopefully we can see him back in the ring soon because I think WWE needs him.
I agree, and you asked me this before. You said, is there anything Kurt Angle's not good at? And I said, the only thing that's ever derailed Kurt Angle is the injuries. He's had neck injuries, knee injuries that have kept him out for extended periods of time. Obviously, a multiple-time world champion in WWE and in TNA, but he was
Olympic
not able.
Gold medalist.
He wanted to get into the UFC in his late 30s, early 40s. He wanted to get into the UFC. Dana White, they wanted to do that. He wanted Kurt to fight, I believe, in just a matter of a couple 8 weeks or something like that. And Kurt needed more time to train, and his neck kept him out. And I believe another injury kept him out from doing the Olympics again in 2012. Which is unbelievable. The ambition, the athleticism, everything about it. And we asked Kurt about that moonsault he did, not to pigeonhole him with that being the only thing he ever did.
Oh God, no!
Of course,
he's a WWE Hall of Famer.
To show the athleticism that he possesses, to be able to do that. And coming from a non-wrestling background, it's so impressive.
Yeah, we talk about the Guerreros, lifelong family. He's doing a frog splash off the top, but that's ingrained like in their family, the whole wrestling business. And then you mentioned McFoley, Mankind, jumping off the top of cages onto the announcer table where Undertaker's laying or whoever, Edge, and going through a cage of fire. And I mean, it's just, you talk about those and those kind of people. Kurt Angle coming from just the Olympic style, just amateur wrestling, being an Olympic gold medalist into professional wrestling, you don't expect him to put his life on the line like that, do the death-defying stunts. But he fully committed and was just supremely successful in doing everything. He's a WWE Hall of Famer in that moonsault. It was just, I couldn't understand the mindset of doing something like that.
Yeah, it's truly unbelievable. And guys, we want to thank you so much for listening or watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on both of those. And we want to do more of these. Guys, we do so many different things, from sports to music, everything in between, to movies. GASNsports.com is where you can find everything we do. And we want to do more of these no-hold-barred wrestling shows. More topics, more guests. We want to do it, but we want to hear from you. So please leave us some feedback, and we'll...
Definitely on Twitter, at GASN Sports, or if you want to just see some more of this wrestling, you have some ideas of guests we can get, that's at NHB_wrestling on Twitter. We love to hear the interaction. If you want us to go out and get a guest, that's what we do. We do it for you fans.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us for our interview with Kurt Angle. It was a huge honor for the both of us. I know it
absolutely,
was, one of the biggest guests we've ever had on in any facet. We've done hundreds of interviews. Thanks so much to Kurt for joining us. AngleStrong.com. Get that app. Very important. Thanks so much for joining us here on No Holds Barred Wrestling.